Hello, I'm going to explain question 6 from chapter 6.2. There was already a video for this question in the tutoring resources, but I don't know, for some reason it's unavailable to watch. So I'll try my best to do it again. Okay, let's read the question. It says that last year, Minden Company introduced a new product and sold 25,900 units of it at a price of $92 per unit. The product's variable expenses are 62 per unit and its fixed expenses are 837,600 per year. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is just write down those numbers that they gave us. So the units are 25,900. Price per unit is $92 and the variable per unit is 62. And fixed expenses. This one right here. Okay. So the first question is, what was this product's net operating income or loss last year? To find that, we need to do like a little income statement. So we start with sales, variable expenses, contribution margin, fixed expenses, and net operating income. Okay, so sales, we know that it was 25,900 units and the price was 92. So we just multiply those two. The variable expenses was 62 per unit. So we do the same, we multiply times the units. The contribution margin is sales minus variable expenses. Fixed expenses 837,600. And the net operating income is the contribution margin minus the fixed expenses. Okay, so we have it. So we got a net operating income loss of 6,600. And it's important to use the negative sign too. For requirement 2, we need to find the break-even point in unit sales and dollar sales. Okay, so break-even point in unit sales or in units is the fixed expenses divided by the contribution margin per unit. We haven't found that one yet. We can do it. So the contribution margin per unit is the selling price per unit minus the variable per unit. So we have 30. And the contribution margin ratio is the contribution margin unit divided by the price per unit, or you can also do it with the total. If we do the total contribution margin divided by sales, we get the same number. So again, break-even point is fixed expenses divided by the CM per unit. And this one is fixed expenses divided by the ratio. Now, requirement 3 is where things get more complicated because they say that they're doing a marketing study and for every 5,000, okay, let's just read it. It estimates it can increase annual sales of this product by 5,000 units for each $2 reduction in its selling price. If the marketing will only consider price reduction in increments of $2, like 66, 66, what is the maximum annual profit that it can earn on this product? And what sales volume and selling price per unit generate the maximum profit? Okay, so for every $2 reduction that we do in the selling price, we will have 5,000 more units in sales. So I'm going to copy this really quick. we're going to do a table okay, for this first line, it's basically what we did for requirement 1 right here. It's just that this time it's going to be horizontal. We know that the price is per unit is 92. We do the units, 25,900. Variable expense per unit. All of this is in dollars. Okay, the sales, again, price per unit times the units. Contribution margin, we can do a formula that is sales minus the total variable expenses. So we can open parentheses and do the variable expense per unit times the units and close parentheses. And the fixed expenses are always going to stay the same. So you can anchor that one, the 837,600, or you can simply just write the number there. The profit is the contribution margin minus the fixed expenses. And you can see that we got the same number right here. Okay, so we need to reduce $2 each time. So we can do the one above, the price per unit that they give us, minus 2. And just drag that down. And for this difference, we're going to have 5,000 more units. So let's get the first units plus 5,000. Drag it down. The variable expenses stay the same. You can anchor it too. They didn't say anything about a change in variable or fixed expenses, so let's just leave it like that. And now, because we did this formula like this, we can just drag down this formula for sales, same with contribution margin, and the same with the profit. So the question is, what is the maximum profit? And we can see that it started as being negative and then it got positive and higher. And right here, it just started decreasing again. So this is the maximum profit that they can get. So maximum annual profit is 180,400. And with 50,900 units and a selling price of 82. Okay, now they're asking for the break-even point in unit and in dollar sales for this one right here highlighted. So we're going to do basically the same that we did for question 2. Find the break-even point. But we need to find, again, the contribution margin per unit, contribution margin ratio, because it's not going to be the same because now the price per unit change. So let's find contribution margin per unit, contribution margin ratio. And you can find it for the whole table, but I'm just going to do it for this one because it's the only number that it matters right now. So again, contribution margin is the price per unit minus the variable expenses per unit. And the contribution margin ratio, you can do it 2 ways. Contribution margin per unit divided by price, or the total contribution margin divided by total sales. Okay, so break-even point in units is the fixed expenses divided by contribution margin per unit. And in sales is fixed expenses divided by contribution margin ratio. Okay, awesome. Let me know if you have any questions.